Hello. I would like to start off with a quote. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Now, before I talk about why that quote is important, I should tell you a little bit about myself. So my name is Marshall Shore. I moved to Arizona 20 years ago. Now, as soon as I got here, all I kept hearing about how there was no history. But I knew that wasn't true. I was working in a library in South Phoenix, and when I got to that community, they opened up their arms and their hearts, and they shared those oral histories, those stories about how the community evolved into what it was today. And you know what? I listened, and I soaked up all those stories, and then I started retelling them. And then I realized by sharing those stories with folks, they would share their stories with me. And so it got to a point where I had friends telling me, how did I know more about their hometown than they did? Well, I seized that opportunity and I created a whole persona called the Hipstorian, which allowed me to celebrate the modern history of Arizona, the people, the places, and the events that made Arizona what we know and that place that we love. Now, in doing this, I come across a lot of stories, and I'd like to share a few of those with you today. So first off would be Rusty Warren. So Rusty was a female comedian and classically trained musician. She moved here to Arizona, and she did just what her talents brought her here to do. But you know, she achieved notoriety, but she went on and was so much herself. I was actually able to recently work with her archives looking for sheet music that she had written because the Library of Congress wanted to admit her as the birth mother of the sexual revolution for stuff she was doing right here in Phoenix in the 60s. Now, Madge Copeland. Madge Copeland early in life became a widow with young kids to support. Now, because she was African American, she couldn't follow her dream of attending beauty school because she wasn't allowed to attend. But, you know, she found a way to take bootleg classes. And she wound up opening up the very first salon in South Phoenix, supporting the African American community down there. And she didn't just stop there. She got involved with politics. She became a huge advocate for desegregation and even held an elected position. So both these women oftentimes were met with adversity or challenges, just like you will be. But you know what? They didn't give in. They didn't stop. They knew who they were. They followed their passions, and they changed the world just a little bit. So now let's talk about that quote. So a friend of mine was actually doing some work with a local cemetery and came across the story of young Nikolai Duralin. Now, Nikolai was born in Russia back in the 1870s, wound up moving to the US. He located himself in Chicago, where he pretty much became a self-made man. But you know what? He contracted tuberculosis in that process. And so, like so many folks in the early days of Arizona, they moved here for our clean air. And he did just that. Now, it didn't go so well for him because he passed away a few months after getting here. But when they were ready for burial, they discovered that Nikolai was a woman. And because of that, they buried him in a dress without a headstone. So my friend brought me this story, And I had to figure out, how do we recognize Nikolai for leading such an authentic life for himself? And I worked with other members of the LGBT community to put together, and we raised funds to actually get Nikolai a headstone on his grave. So now people will know that he's buried there, and the community that supported that was just amazing. So what I challenge you with is, as life will throw you adversity, but you know yourselves. You'll discover yourselves. And you too can change the world just like these people. Maybe not in a huge way, but you can have an effect on it. And remember that. You can have an effect. Thank you and good day.
We stand here today as the graduating class of 2020.
Dun, 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 dun,
We are living through an extraordinary time, to be sure.
dun, dun, dun.
We are so proud of you.
We are with you.
Welcome to the beginning of the next chapter of your life adventure.
The world needs your talents and your leadership now more than ever.
I cannot wait to see your greatness.
We're going to come out of this crisis stronger together.
You are a product for the times.
Go toward yourself.
Bloom where you are planted.
Change is good.
It's going to be okay because you are enough.
You can have an effect.
Go out and rock this time.
Focus on leaving our community a better place.
You've got this. Be brave.
Embrace today.
Please remember to vote.
Muchísimas felicidades a la clase de graduados de 2020.
Can't wait to see what you do.
Cheers to the graduating classes of 2020.
Congratulations.
Congratulations!
Congratulations.
Mazel tov.
Congratulations.
We celebrate you!